Welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm your host, Tristen Stawicki. Think of me as your pragmatic shaman bestie. Join in with other high vibe, lovely people as I unravel spiritual ideas to help create change and growth in your life. I cover a variety of spiritual topics, sharing knowledge to meet you wherever you are in your journey. As a shaman, astrologer, and human design reader, I help you understand how to make informed decisions and incorporate different modalities using discernment and your own intuition. Today, you will gain powerful shamanic healing tools you can use to incorporate spiritual practices in non-traditional ways. Whether you're just beginning or need a knowledgeable best friend with the next phase of your journey, I'm here to help. Stay tuned. Musings and Modalities starts now. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm Tristen Stawicki, your shaman with an MBA, and I'm so excited for today's episode, Crush Your Quota, Not Your Soul, with sales witch Meghann Misiak. Meghann is a sales strategist and nervous system obsessed coach. She's spent 10 years in software as a service, SaaS, right? For those of you who know, you know, building enablement, leading teams, and consulting for companies like Deal, HubSpot, Blend, and Movable Inc. She's been featured in Sale Better, Outward Bound or Outbound Squad, and the Revenue Enablement Society, which all sounds incredibly cool. And now coaches top sellers one-on-one on how to win more, work less, and sell like actual humans. This conversation is so needed. Welcome, Meghann. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so excited when you reached out.
Absolutely. No, I love what you're doing. I specifically kind of saw your work on LinkedIn, and not only did I really resonate with um, the content that you're creating, but also your overall mission, right? And the kind of clear and iconic tagline of crush your quota, not your soul, which sales for many of us, especially as business owners, people that are actually in sales day in and day out, people that, just dread interacting with salespeople, which is so sad. You know what I mean? Um,
Yes.
so I would love to if you could set the scene for us, talk about your background in sales and, what drove you to show up differently in the world.
Yeah, so I always joke that I've been in sales since I was 16 years old. My first job, a lot of other people I remember, like my cousin got a job at a like putt-putt place, but I chose to get a job at a bathing suit store so that I could get discounts living in Florida. So while other people are just stealing ice cream from the putt-putt place, I fell in love with sales. And I remember it really taught me a lot about solution selling because when you realize that you have a 5 bathing suit limit until someone, like if someone tries on 5 bathing suits and does not like it, there's a high potential for them to start crying.
Oh.
And so it taught me a lot. I actually like worked in retail for years, and then in college I worked in as a leasing agent, so selling apartments to work my way through school. And then I graduated with a degree in sociology, and I was like, I do not want to keep going down the research route. So I stuck with what I knew, and I got into tech sales. And honestly, I've always been one of those like gold star people. Like I always really cared about making good grades and I really cared about being like a good student and whether it was like, a good sorority sister and a good this and a good that. And so sales felt really safe. So I excelled very quickly. I actually got into sales training, sales enablement, then leadership. Um, yeah, until it broke me. And I'm sure we'll get into that.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, especially as you talked about kind of early in your career when, you're dealing with people's hopes and dreams where they're living as well as their body, right?
Yeah.
It's very sensitive and having that emotional awareness and high emotional intelligence is so important. So you can hear kind of what they're asking for behind what they're sharing.
Yeah, and honestly, I have a lot of people that come to me and they're either like working in tech sales, burnt out, tired of it, wondering if it's like, God, I had this one person who she came to me actually months ago and she was selling wedding dresses. And she was like, I would really like to get into tech sales. I'm a little bit bored working in retail. I've made it really far, but I want to see if I can make more money and retire early so I could follow my dreams and ambitions. And the first month she called me, I helped her get a job. She was like, yeah, I hate this. And what she said was so eye-opening. She was like, okay, so let me just get this straight. The job in tech sales is to call 100 or hundreds of people that don't want to talk to you, book meetings with people that never show up, and sell things to people that really don't want it.
Oh,
And I was like, wow, that is the most brutal description of sales I've heard, but it can feel like that when you're kind of like lit, like not really in an environment where you can see something beautiful about sales. But what you just stated, like even just working in the bathing suit shop, and even for her working with wedding dresses, it actually reminds me of like the beauty of sales because a lot of people think sales is selling things, and reality is that it is psychology, it is human connection, it is deep problem solving, and honestly, it is helping people find solutions that they need. So even when I work with people who are not like the traditional salespeople, I'm putting that in air quotes. Um, a lot of people feel like they have an issue with sales, not actually the act of selling. Because if you actually think about sales as simply an exchange of energy for things that people need, makes it a lot easier, you know? And like even just
yeah.
a mantra of like, I have something that people need. I just need to find the right people. And I think that's where sales can feel really yucky when you feel pressure to like, if you think of it as convincing the people that don't really want it, I think of sales is finding things that people really want and just helping them get that. And so
Mm.
it's very different energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've often found when the energy around sales is yucky, it's not necessarily on a person-to-person level. It's the corporate energy that's
Yeah,
forcing those transactional interactions because that company doesn't value relationships that are authentic.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that was a beautiful kind of segue into kind of pairing the energetic of sales with strategy. What kind of makes this approach so effective for you?
Yeah, so since your audience, I've heard is all into the woo, I will also I can tell y'all like
Please.
I post a little bit about this on LinkedIn, but I'm an energy geek. So I actually have my Reiki certification. I own an Aura camera and do Aura photography. So it actually has plates where you put your hands on it and it reads your energy and portrays that onto an image. I also read palms. I read tarot. And for me, energy is everything. I will say, like, when I was talking about my background and like loving like the gold stars and all of the achievement, I spent decades being completely dissociated from my energy and from my body, honestly. And, all of these modalities really helped me. And the weird thing is that I feel like previously I treated sales like more of a problem to solve. And I was doing a lot of things, like I approached even like body language very mentally, where I'm like, oh, I need to like look at them and see how they're tilting their head.
Mhm.
And the weird thing is that the more that I've studied energy, and actually I want to highlight like a lot of people that think that they're not very good salespeople or they're not the sales persona think that they're not because they're not that like highly mental, highly driven, highly competitive, highly like I know all of this super professional talk tracks and sounds like a salesperson. People do not want to buy from people like that. You said it. A lot of people like we think that we need to be professional and like robotic to be a salesperson, but ironically, when I started studying energy, when I started tapping into my feelings, my emotions, my body, sales became a lot easier.
Mm.
And so, ironically, people who don't think that they're salespeople are often the best people because they're actually relying on more natural intuition. They're like, oh, this person doesn't need what I have. They don't want to buy from me. And you're like, okay, well, why would you force it then? But a lot of corporate people feel like they have to like be different than themselves. So for me, energy in sales matters for one simple reason because psychology shows people read your energy before they hear what you say, before they even see you, they feel you.
Mm.
And so there's a lot of like on a positive side, we can create these beautiful experiences for people And on the negative side, I'm a sales trainer. And I will tell you that there's like, I can give you talk tracks. And if you have, you can use the same exact talk track. But if your energy is off, if you're not, and I know we'll get into like kind of like levels of energy, but if your energy is off due to like lack of confidence, you can say the same exact thing as someone else and it will feel completely different for the buyer. So that's what a lot of people struggle with when they're like, I'm doing everything that everyone says that I should do. Sometimes it's just like that energetic difference. So I think that it's so beautiful because it can be really intuitive where we have our bodies know, right? Our bodies can have normal conversations. Most of my job in tech sales is teaching people how to remember their bodies. Like I literally have to teach people how to have small talk. It's really awkward because then I go home and my partner's like, "Hey, what did you do today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I taught someone how to like have a basic conversation." But yeah, I think that like corporate America has really taught us how to forget our intuition, to forget our energy, to ignore our feelings. And it's actually like all of our sales are lacking because of it.
That makes complete sense. And I also feel like as we get into more of the energy, people feel desperation, right? People
Yes.
feel when they're being pushed to something that they know is not right for them. And so having those in like integrity and feeling that in the interaction is so incredibly important.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because a lot of times, most of my work is with top performers or teams that already have like their basic sales stuff figured out. So like, we're not like, hey, here's literally day one, here's how to set up a cold, like do a cold call. And to be fair, I do that, but most of the time, I actually work with a lot of top performers who are like, I've read the books, I've done all of these things, and like, I just don't understand like why I'm not performing as well as I want to, or the more important one is like why I feel miserable and why I feel really bad about the way I'm selling and like I don't feel fulfilled. That's also energetic because so many people show up and they'll just be like, oh, I just got to get through this conversation. And I'm like, if you're not in love with sales, if you're not genuinely excited to hear what these people, oh, like, tell me more about your business. Like, if you're not excited, like, why are you doing it? You know?
Yeah.
And I think like people feel that energy as well. Like, wow, I listen to so many sales calls where with the perfect talk track, people are like, hi, thanks for joining the call today. And you can't, I think with the pod, like a lot of people can't even see my face. I hope you feel that energy.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you feel that I was not excited. Did I sound excited to hear you? No. And so I think ironically that actually deeply impacts buyers and it also deeply impacts the way that like how much fun and fulfillment we get out of sales as well.
That makes complete sense. So when we think about ways, kind of tactics that those listening can think about, the energy that repels sales, which we've talked about a little bit,
Yeah.
what are three ways listeners can kind of clean up their energy?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. And I'll actually quickly say I think the three biggest issues in energy with sales, the first one is desperation. So if you're coming in and they're like pushing them because you're so desperate, even for business owners especially, I have to struggle with like if you're living in scarcity, they can feel it.
Yeah.
So like if you're desperate for something, I feel like for me, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I will share some tactics to work through these. But yeah, if you're desperate, they can feel it. The second one I would say is the pressure to perform and when I say perform, I mean like, again, what we've been talking about, the pressure to feel like I need to sound smart. I need to seem confident. And a lot of times that actually shows up as like, I shall now sound like a robot because that is what I think people want, right? And then I would say the other one is related to desperation, but it's the pushiness. It's like the urgency. It's like I not only need this, but I need it now. And not giving, I think a lot of people in this group will understand like the term like creating a container, a safe container.
Yeah.
When you're pushing and you're pulling as well with that desperation, that is not a safe container. And people are like, I disengage. So when it comes to actually like cleaning up some of that energy, some of them I wanted to give some like small ones as well as some bigger ones. So I actually would say like one of the biggest things I do with clients is simply breath work. So
Mhm.
even before calls, taking 3 deep breaths, of course, in and then out, exhaling through your mouth. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. Doing 3 of those before a meeting will honestly do anything like way more than any talk track or et cetera that I can give you. But even at giving yourself little ways of calming down during a meeting, do you ever struggle with like if you get really like, oh gosh, do you like talk a lot?
When I get very passionate, I can find like I'm very fast and I'll jump around. I have like that air energy for sure.
Yeah. And then like sometimes do you ever have like the second thought in your mind? You're like, I'm so excited, but oh my God, I'm talking way too much. Right? Like
Of
maybe I need
course.
to slow down.
Yeah, yeah.
So honestly, there's 2 things I tell people. Like one, you can actually have even if there's like awkward moments where you want to ask a question, but like they don't answer immediately and we kind of freak out, just having a water bottle and being able to like take a long sip, or even just using the phrase like, hey, I know I threw a lot at you. Let me just pause. What questions do you have? Or how are you feeling so far? And just having some of those like purposeful pauses is really powerful. So creating those purposeful pauses within yourself through breath work and then creating space in the meeting through questions like that break it up and allow them to speak and allow you to also calm down your regulate your nervous system a little bit if you get excited. Um Also the thing that I'll say that the second one is setting an intention for each call. A lot of people think that they focus on the outcome. So they're like, I need to turn this meeting into an opportunity, or like I need to turn this into a deal, or I need to sell them. Simply changing the intention to something curious can completely change the meeting. So actually in tech sales, a lot of people go into a meeting with an agenda instead of an intention. An intention is energetic, an agenda is task focused. And for me, most of my intentions are simply to learn. So I'm like, I need to understand if this is someone that might be a good client for me and vice versa. That can completely shift the energy and allow space for the no versus if you say, I need to like convince them that this is right. Because like, what if they're not right for you? That's kind of where that desperation comes in. So even setting more open, curious, learning-based intentions can be really powerful. And the third one, this is a little bit more extensive, but it's honestly one of the most impactful for my clients. I have them choose an archetype. So instead of, I am a salesperson, I need to show up as a tech salesperson. I need to like probably go get one of those like North Face vests and like get one of those pocket, like the little, headphones, headsets. I should probably do this call from a cold plunge. Um, Come on, like we need to be ourselves, but even more than that, I actually love helping people like just like take that a step further. So I do an exercise and I just ask them like what type of salesperson do you want to show up as? And we actually give them a kind of a title. Like one was like the heart-centric hustler. My archetype is based on like the Jungian archetypes of like the magician or the tarot card, if you're familiar with it. And just operating from that energy every day. So sometimes this also like the sage is a very classic one, where it's like your job is to provide expertise and to get curious. Like I'm just always in a book, curious about learning, and I want to learn about my clients as well. And so even having an archetype that's different can help you show up differently in every single call. And it also is a really good reminder of like what energetic state you want to be in. And a little bonus on that, I love like picking people that you really love and that embody that. So like for me, it's Terry Gross from NPR. It's Oprah. And because sometimes I talk really fast, I like getting overwhelmed. I love Obama to kind of balance that out in me. Do you
That's
have any people that you love that like kind of embody like how you want to show up?
Anne Hathaway. It's one of my all-time favorites. A little bit mysterious, but very generous, very warm, like
Yeah.
that perfect kind of balance I love. Because I just a little bit of astrology. My sun is in my eighth
Mhm.
house of like death and taxes, and it's a little more hidden. So having that little bit of like mystique, but still be very like
Ooh.
warm and gregarious is like the perfect balance.
I can totally see that. And do you feel like she's more similar to you or she's like very different than you and how you want to show up? And I'm not
Um,
saying like from my perspective, I have
yeah.
one, but I was like, I'm curious how you feel about it.
I think there are elements of her that really resonate with like my Capricorn energy, the regalness,
Yeah.
the elegance that I really see. But
Mm.
she doesn't embody as much of the fiery energy, at least in the interviews I've seen of her. And that's like very much like the Bernadette Peters, which is why I'm a redhead. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
beautiful musical theater, Broadway energy is also an element that's in there. That's just I have a few different ones, but that's a great
I
question.
love that. Yeah, and I honestly I just love like again like I just had a long time like what would Oprah do?
Mm,
So and honestly I just picked those people because they're some are different, some are similar to me and it's really fun too. It makes it a lot fun, more fun than just like I need to be more this or more that. I'm like I just need to be like Anne Hathaway, very
yeah.
simply.
Absolutely. No, how she shows up is beautiful and it's great to and I think all of these exercises kind of take you I don't want to say outside of your body, but where you're in a space that is safe and that is both connected and also you're like I am more than this call. You know, what we're trying to achieve here is more than just closing a deal. Like that is not the focus. Genuine human connection and really building on that because sometimes pathways open that you couldn't have even imagined. So if you're so focused on like a single door, then all of these other opportunities, won't even align.
Yeah, and I think also a lot of people are just so afraid of no. It's actually, I read tarot, and I don't know about you, but like I read reversals,
Hmm.
and it's shocking to me when people do not read reversals because I'm like, do you just not want to go into the shadow? Like what? You don't want to look at the dark? And I think sales can be very similar, where it's like we're so afraid of the no. But honestly, no's can be a blessing. It's like I want to hear a no as soon as possible because I don't want to waste time on all these people that I have to like convince and like try to like pressure. Hell no. I'm here to find the right people that need what I want. And so getting to know quickly is a blessing for me. And they feel a lot better about it because they're like, thank you for being honest and open with me. Right. And so even a no, the worst case scenario, they don't want to buy from you. Most of the time, it's like, thank goodness that I found out, right? Because I don't want a bad client. That takes up way more space than any good client. So I think just creating space and creating safe containers in sales is really powerful. And it's something that a lot of people feel like that's not sales. Sales can't be magical, can't be witchy, but that's literally exactly what it is.
It is. I mean, I actually do rituals for sales, right? Anytime I'm
Yeah.
trying to magnetize, I'm pulling out my candles, I'm doing the full thing. Because I'm like, we're shifting that energy and that I need tangible kind of anchors to be able to do that. It's just a lot more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be fun.
Yeah, definitely. And so I think we've talked a little bit about kind of the misconceptions around sales. Were there any others you wanted to add before we talk about how sales is changing in 2026?
No, I think we've covered a lot. I'm
Gorgeous.
excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, fabulous. So let's go into the future. What do you see happening in 2026? How is sales changing?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be that person, but I do need to just address like AI is shifting everything.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, to be fair, a lot of companies are replacing salespeople, replacing everything with AI. And ironically, I think that the best salespeople are going to be the ones that do two things. One, it is the people who are going to embrace AI and to like leverage it for themselves. And ironically, I use AI for a lot of energetic things. I'm like, hey, I'm struggling with this mindset, or I'm feeling really anxious right now. Can you help me? And like, I know that there's issues with using it for therapy. I also have a therapist. Do not worry. But for me, it ha handles a lot of those like daily anxieties. So if you're feeling really anxious for a call and your energy isn't right, you can have it give you a pep talk. Like
Mm,
that's so powerful. But also for things like research, for things like I just need to understand if this might be a good fit, or can you help me prepare for this meeting and show up in a good way? It's so interesting to see like we need to use AI, but also I think that the people who are leaning into their humanity and again into their body, into their energy that cannot be replaced by robots, but are supplementing their natural skills and humanity, aka like the things that AI can't replace, will be the ones that win. And so I think like deeper connection and like even sales tools like call recording systems, they cannot, they can't assess energy right now. So like they might have things like, okay, like, well, you're using the same exact talk tracks, the same exact this, like the transcripts look exactly the same. I don't know why this seller's doing better. But a lot of times it's like everything that happens between that. So I think like energy will win in 2026 in a world where like everyone's trying to replace everything with robots. Humanity and energy wins.
No, I love
That's
that.
exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's so exciting, especially because I feel like, so I've been working kind of in the software as a service space,
Mhm.
forever. And to see kind of it went like data driven and then it went like API forward and then now it's AI.
Yeah.
It's just like here are all these tools. And most of the times companies are terrible at using any of those tools,
Yeah.
right? Like I still don't feel like we have a good handle on data. And so using AI to get better kind of outputs and understand data and interrogate data, beautiful. Like we love that.
But you need good inputs to get good outputs from AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
do think like it is very scary and for a lot of people. And so I actually also think like it sounds like your audience, yes, is like worked in SaaS, but I also think that a lot of full-time roles are going to be a lot less stable. At least for the next 5 years, as like there's so many layoffs, there's so many issues with like replacement with AI. So I also feel like a lot of people will start doing their own thing, starting small companies, starting their own businesses, and I'm here for it. It's really hard, but I think that like ironically, sales is also a big part of that for anyone who you're like, oh, I'll just start my own company. Cool. Now you're a salesperson, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, and a marketer, and this, and that. And so I mean, entrepreneurship is like the deepest spiritual journey as well. So not only in sales, but like, wow, is it powerful in terms of the personal evolution there. So I'm excited for human-centric salespeople, and I'm really excited for energetic entrepreneurs.
No, and I would love to hear like how you can support those that are kind of changing, if you want to highlight a success story that's recent.
Yeah, so wow, I have success stories all over the place. I'll share one. So one of my clients, he's worked with me off and on for 5 years. He came to me and he was a top salesperson and he was like, "Hey, I just, I've done all the things. I've like done a lot of coaching, but I just like I don't really feel like I don't feel very fulfilled and I know I want to level up." And so we actually got him to like the number one salesperson on his entire team. He was like doing incredibly. And I just remember his big goal was hitting 200% quota, and that was not normal. He only hit 187%, and he was broken. He was like, I can't believe. And I was like, okay, like why does why does 200% matter? And it was just this like massive transformation for him. You could see his eyes get really wide and he's like, "Oh my God, I just picked this random number and I don't know why I'm like so disappointed by 187%." And so over the years, we've really like, yes, I help on the tactical side of like I help with business cases, I help with do call reviews and see how you're interacting with customers. But I also help on those like the existential lessons around what are we chasing? Why are we chasing it? What would happen if you opened yourself up to not be limited by the numbers and not to feel awful about only hitting 180% of the goal? And so I do a lot of the tactical sales work to help you make money, to help you obviously convert more calls, but I do so much of the inner work of helping you find more fulfillment in sales, connecting on a more human, authentic way with customers, and overall just like feeling happier in your life because you're actually able to regulate your nervous system, find rest, and feel really proud of the way that you're selling.
Oh, that is beautiful and such an important
Yeah.
mission as people carry kind of their emotional baggage. All of us do, but especially those in sales where you're day in and day out, the highs are high and the lows are so low, and to be able to regulate that so you're not kind of on that roller coaster day in and day
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it can be rough.
Absolutely. So, obviously the audience is so engaged and thrilled and want to work with you. Where can they find you? How can they best work with you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is the best place. I think you'll be able to find my name. I'm the only person on LinkedIn in the entire Wells Fargo banking system with my spelling. But yeah, I actually, if anyone's interested in coaching with me, well, first, I do a lot of content on both fun things on LinkedIn. So even if you're not in sales, I still have a lot of things with nervous system regulation about just like the witchy and the woo. I call myself that sales witch on LinkedIn. So a lot of fun stuff. I also have a newsletter called Letters to My Burned Out Self. And if you are in sales or if you're really like looking to work with me potentially, I have a link to book a free coaching consult on my LinkedIn.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
There's so many great, I don't even want to call them nuggets, like truly life-changing, impactful information that you shared today. And I so appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was such a fun conversation.
And thank you, listeners, so much for watching and listening to Musings and Modalities. You can tune in the second and fourth Thursdays of each month at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for more fabulous episodes. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to Musings and Modalities with me, Tristen, your pragmatic shaman bestie. For more powerful healing tools, join me every second and fourth Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. I cover a variety of topics to meet you wherever you are at on your spiritual journey. Learn techniques to work with pendulums, past life healing, astrology, and more. Please share the show and subscribe for more guidance from your pragmatic shaman bestie at musingsandmodalities.com.